Hi, my name's Michael Gilmore and I'm one of the founders of ParkLogic.com, and I'm here with Tim. And we're going to be taking a look at how to develop your own business cash flow for your domain business. How are you going, Tim?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, really good, thanks. I recently wrote an article, Tim, in my blog, whizbangsblog.com, and what it was about was developing a cash flow for your domain business, and I had a lot of feedback, and I thought, gee, this could actually be worthwhile taking people through.
Yes, as I understand, that article actually generated a bit of controversy.
Yeah, there was a little bit, as people were sort of debating the pros and cons of different assumptions and so forth like that, but I think controversy is a good thing, because it gets people thinking about their businesses and how it can be improved.
Yes, it definitely promotes discussion, and hopefully we'll find some solutions to many of the problems out there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what I thought would be good is to go through how I built the simple cash flow for those of you not familiar with Excel, and for those of you who are, of how I personally build financial models and how to manage the business a bit better.
So what do you want to take us through first?
Yeah, well, as you can see on the screen just here, this is the cash flow I used in the example article, and whenever I build a cash flow like this across a 6-month period from July to December, I always put my assumptions at the top or on a separate tab, and then I have an area called the drivers, then revenue, expenses, then you've obviously got profit and your cash flow down the bottom. Now I've simplified this back a lot though.
Yes.
Yeah, so for example, some of the assumptions are that the average registration cost for the domains will be $10, and that can vary. Like you can break that out even further. Instead of just saying what's the average, you may have like what's a .net cost you, what's a .com cost you, what's a .co.uk or a .de or a .at and so forth. You can break it right out, and that gives you a more granular approach to developing your cash flow. Personally, that's actually what I do. I actually break everything out. But for this cash flow, we'll just keep it simple.
Yeah. So what do you want to take us through next?
Okay, my hourly charge. I think this is really the heart of the article I was writing about, is the fact that when you're developing a cash flow, you need to take into account the fact that your business you need to charge your business for the amount of time you're actually spending in that business. Otherwise, it's not a real business, it's a hobby. And that's the crux of what this is all about. I then have a few other things, which is typical stock sale. I divide the domains up into a number of different areas. The first one is a stock sale, which is all I want to be able to do is sell a domain for between, say, $600 to $1,000, and I want to do a stock churn on my domain portfolio, say 2% per year. That's distinct to the really high value domains, which are $8,000 or $10,000 or numbers of thousands of dollars worth, and those sort of sales don't happen that often. In fact, I said the chance of a sale like that happening is about 0.1% per year. Some people get higher because they've got a very good high quality portfolio. Other people don't. They don't have as high quality generics. Then we have the average sales commission. Is you've got to pay someone to sell this, or if you've managed to have done all the sales process yourself, and that's great.
Okay, so you've gone through the assumptions, as you called them. Could you go through the drivers?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so when I set up the spreadsheet, I sort of say, okay, domain renewals. How many domains am I renewing here? So it has a list of all the different domains, all the different renewal numbers of domains per month, that is, and then as domain stock sales of how many domains on average I'm going to sell per month, and high value sales, and also how many hours am I actually going to work in my domain business.
Okay, so what would you say is the definition of a driver?
Yeah, a driver is something which is some of the fundamental constructs to your business. Like how many domains you actually have to renew each month is a driver. It drives your expense line, for instance. The stock sales, like how many sales you'll have, it drives the sales path, and so forth.
So you would say that the drivers are the major factors in this business?
That's correct. So what will then happen is they'll then input into the revenue and expenses. So when I take a look at the revenue, for instance, we have a traffic revenue. I said, okay, let's imagine we're doing $1,800 a month, and it falls off a little bit in December because most people go on holidays or don't go online towards the end of December.
Take a break for Christmas
exactly.
and whatnot.
Exactly, it's a period of time I can't stand. But then we have the stock sales and so forth. So the stock sales will be the average price, which is about $600, times the driver up here, which is 1.49. Then we have the domain high value sales, which will be the $8,000 multiplied by the 0.074. So on average, you'll get $594 per month. It's not a true picture of a cash flow because I'm just working on averages. Normally you would say, okay, we think we're going to do 1 sale in December, because that will give you a truer picture of a cash flow.
Yes, but it's a rough estimate, isn't it?
Yeah, this is very simplified a lot. My own personal cash flow goes for about 100 or 200 lines down and very, very wide.
That's a big cash flow.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of granularity in that. Then on the registration fee side, you have your registration fees, which is just like, in this case, we said $10 times number of domains you have to actually register that month. And sales commissions, are there going to be sales commissions or not? In this case, it's assuming there's no sales commissions. My time is what are you billing your time at, and then finally the total of the expenses. So then you can see the expense line or the profit of the business on a month-by-month basis, and the cash flow is just the cumulative amount of cash retained in your business. So at the end of December, you should have $1,300 in your bank. I think what's interesting about a spreadsheet isn't the fact that you have $1,300 in your bank account, but you can now begin to play with the figures. For instance, if I take a look at the sales commissions and so forth, at the moment the sales commissions are 0, but what I could do is sort of say, okay, I'm selling, say, stock sales and high value sales, so I will just add them up. See just here, I might just move this down a little bit.
Yeah, just while you're doing that, a spreadsheet, I guess, is not only good for managing figures, but I guess you could say it's a great way to get organized.
Oh, absolutely. I'm on Excel continuously. So I'm going to just multiply, just add up the two sales figures, multiply it by my commission level, which is 15%, and now it's going to cost me $223 across the board for my commissions. And that's obviously impacted the expense line just here. Now, I think that one of the things that I postulated in the article was that you have to charge your business an hourly rate for your time. And likewise, this business is very marginal. But let's imagine you could outsource the number of hours worked. Instead of spending 20 hours working on your business, you can actually put it down to, say, 3 hours a month. If you can output, say, 3 hours per month just here, then suddenly your business transforms.
It becomes a lot more cost efficient.
Yeah, it becomes a lot more cost efficient because you're not having to charge your business more for your time. Now the challenge there is that if you're not charging for your time, is the work's going to be done by someone. And this is what I suggested, is you outsource the management of your domains to, say, someone like a ParkLogic or anyone else who can do that sort of thing, where they build the tools and everything, the scalability to be able to actually manage the portfolio and extract more value out of the portfolio of domains.
That would essentially make the number of hours worked 0 for the customer.
Yeah, well, ultimately, but I'm putting in here 3. I'm saying, okay, you're still going to do some handling and things like that.
Maybe for an hour a week or something?
Yeah, it's even less than that. But what it does is it allows you to spend your time doing something else, like developing out a domain, or working on another business, or finding more domains to buy, or reinvesting into buying domains, and that sort of stuff. But one of the things I found over the years is that managing domains is actually a specialized task. If you are manually moving your domains around different parking companies and trying to work out which one's going to pay you the most and that sort of stuff, and all those sort of things, then it's a huge headache. It's a huge headache.
Absolutely.
And it would drive you absolutely crazy. In fact, I used to do that in the very beginning days. 10 years ago, I used to move my domains around manually, and I soon discovered that really I wasn't adding significant value. And so that's where I began to build systems, which we now use in ParkLogic. But one of the other things with the ParkLogic, we actually don't charge a sales commission on the sales. We can actually just delete that out. And so if you sell a domain for $1,000, then you keep $1,000. Yeah, so at this stage we're not doing any of that sort of thing. That's just an additional service we provide our customers. So once again, your business improves. And this is what it's all about. It's approaching business from a business perspective.
Now, just on that note, I noticed that one of the comments on the article is that in domaining, it's very difficult to look at it from a business perspective. And I remember one of the quotes was, it's kind of hit and miss. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I actually don't think it needs to be hit and miss now. I think the systems have developed now which are very sophisticated, which allows a domain owner to manage their portfolio's domain in a much more sophisticated fashion. And if you don't have access to one of those systems, then hey, give us a call or something at ParkLogic. would love to have a chat to you about that. But it is a lot more sophisticated. I think the business has evolved a long way. I know one of those other comments was, you've got to somehow put a lot of time into a business and not draw out money. Now that's true, but ultimately what you're believing is your balance sheet's going to change, where you'll be adding significant value and you'll be able to extract it at a point in the future.
So you're saying that you're trying to weigh up the investment risks?
That's exactly right, yeah. You just can't keep pouring time into a business with the hope of a rainbow in the future. And I think a lot of people do that, is they hope they're going to sell their domain for $1 million and it's all going to pay off in the end. By the way, good luck to people who do that. But the chance that happens is probably less than the chance of winning the lottery.
Would you say it's less than 0.01%?
Yeah,
whatever you wrote down?
Yeah, it definitely would be. And so I'm a firm believer that you need to go along and pour time into a business to make it successful. I've always been in business the whole of my working life myself, and I've started many businesses over the years, and I've got a lot of experience in this, and I understand you do need to put time into it. But even if you don't charge your business that, you need to keep track of how much time you're putting into it. Because at some point in time, you're going to have in your balance sheet a liability to yourself that you're actually owed $50,000 in wages. Yeah, and that's the management account. So then you can sort of say, okay, has my assets accrued to the point where it offsets the $50,000? And now I'm actually generating a profit if I sell this business and so forth. If you don't do something like that, then you run the risk of having an exciting hobby that you think is a business. And that's, in my experience of talking to people over the years, that's no way to run your bank accounts.
What would you say to the people who want to run their domains as more of a hobby?
I think, look, domaining is like an addiction. I think it's great. If you run domaining as a hobby, then fine, go for it, enjoy it, and you know what, pour as much money into it as you like. I've got hobbies, we all have hobbies, and we like doing certain things, and go for it. But if you look at your business as your domain portfolio as a business, then it's a very different approach.
Yes. And
you need to take that different approach, because if you don't, then you'll either get despondent because it's not performing, it doesn't work. Like, I've had a lot of people tell me that parking is dead and all that sort of stuff, and yet we've still got more and more clients coming on board, we've still got more and more clients earning money, and yet we're then seeing people saying, oh, it's all dead, and I'm thinking, scratching my head going, well, they must be in a different world to me. This is where I offered in my article, so I said, look, why don't you come online at Whizbang's blog, or just go to michaeldegilmour.com, it's Gilmour, and go onto the forum there. I'm not trying to replace any of the great forums that are out there, but hey, I'm happy to answer questions and do what I can to help out, because this industry has given me a lot, and over the years on my blog and everything, I've been really happy to contribute back to the industry. I think that you can't just be a taker, you've got to be a giver. But anyway, I hope that's helped people. Like, this is a very simple cash flow. I hope it's really helped you understand the thinking behind it and the methodology. Anyway, it's been great having a chat with you, Tim.
Yes, just one thing before you go. If you could comment on this video, give us some insight, then it'd be great, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
No, that'd be good. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot for that.
Bye.